Hello everybody, my name is Miyoki and welcome to the 50 Extreme Demons tier list. In this video, we'll be going through all 50 of my extreme demons and ranking them based on my enjoyment. The enjoyment will be based on the gameplay, which will be the primary factor that influences whether or not I like a level and how high or low it is, the decoration, and the song. The decoration and the song will mainly be used if I can't really decide between two levels, or if I just absolutely love the decoration and the music and they just make the level just that much better. So without further ado, let's get into it. This will be in order from my first extreme all the way to my most recent, being Phobos. So first up, we have Niwa. Niwa I liked to a degree. The last 20% of Niwa felt really annoying and way harder than everything else. I ended up dying there about 40 times when I originally beat it. And when I rebeat it, I think I died there a couple times as well. Also to the last click both times I've beaten it. I think the decoration's good. I like the colors. I like purple. It's my favorite color. And the song, the artist always makes good music. I don't know how to pronounce their name, but absolutely love the artist. I wouldn't give it an S. I would probably give it like a B tier. It's not like amazing. It's just like I've a little bit of bias towards it because it was my first, and I think that's really the only reason why I look back on it like as fondly as I do. Um, Next up, we have Troll Level. Now, Troll Level, I think, is one of the best memory extreme demons in the game for beginners. I think the decoration, whilst it's still simple, it just pulls it off really well. I think the combination of the gameplay, the decoration, and the song is what really makes Troll Level amazing. I think if you were to take any of them without the others, it would just be mid. But the whole package that is Troll Level makes it a really good level, and I would probably put it as an A tier. Not quite an S tier. There are some flaws with it. Um, I do kind of like the fact that the gameplay, there's multiple different ways you can do some of the parts. And it's the ending is very tense. Like it you clutch that ending and it feels so good to pull off. I just think Troll Level is all around a very good level. Next up we have Aku, which a lot of people find it boring just because, you know, everyone does it as a first extreme demon. But there's a reason everybody does, and that's because it is genuinely a good first extreme demon. I think the song, you get kind of tired of it. It's not the best song. I think Creo has definitely made songs better than Epilogue. The decoration is actually pretty good. I think it still holds up decently to this day. Not the best decoration, but obviously for its time, it was one of the best. And I still think it is a really good low. Now, the gameplay, yeah, the pre-drop is kind of difficult, but I do honestly think it's a very well balanced level and it remains fun, consistent, and also fast paced throughout the whole thing. It always feels like it's just fun. I don't really know how else to describe it. And the ending, it's again with Troll Level, or similar to Troll Level. You get to the ending and you clutch it, and it feels so good. I remember when I beat it, I flicked it from I think like 78%, I believe. So I will put Aku as an A tier. Next up, we have Lost Love, which I did for Memory quite a few years ago, actually. It must have been 3 or 4 years ago at this point. Um, I really, really liked Lost Love. I think the song's really good. I do like the song. The decoration, the parts remain somewhat samey. It's like the pre-drop is just all the same, the drop is all the same, and then after the drop is the same, but that doesn't really make it any worse. The gameplay, it is so satisfying to do. It's super, super learny, which is the case for memory levels. They're supposed to be learny. Um, I do think my only issue with the gameplay really is that the ending with all the orbs feels really daunting and also very, very confusing, especially with some of the timings. I would probably put Lost Love at an A tier, I think. Do I think it's better than Aku? Maybe. Do I think it's better than Troll Level? Maybe. I'm not going to bother like ranking them within the actual tiers just because that would take too much and I wouldn't be able to. Um, but yeah. Next up we have Dora Dora, which I think was the first extreme that I did not like. I think the base gameplay of Dora Dora is fun and the click sync is nice. The decoration is nice and the song, I love the song. But it just shouldn't have been as hard as it was. Like some of the hitboxes are stupid and it just makes for quite an unenjoyable experience. And also the waves are way too hard for a level of this difficulty. And just the last wave is really annoying. It's probably going to be a C tier. I think what makes it a C tier up rather than like a D tier is that the song is really good. I like the song, and that's about it. Next up, we have Allegiance, which holds a special place in my heart because it was my first Extreme Demon I did last year, and it's really what kickstarted me getting better at the game. Last year, I did 26 Extremes, and this year, I've done a lot more than I thought I ever would. I think I will say because I'm a little bit of a slow coach with editing and making videos. As of recording this, I've done 27 extremes this year, so I've done 8 since Phobos. That is how behind I am. Um, but I think Allegiance is still a good level. It's definitely unbalanced. There's some choke points. The 58% ship, the wave at like 70, I think it is, and the pink orb at like 82. Um, they're just the hardest parts. I do think also the last ship can be very, well, not the very last ship, but the one after Suncopter. It's very easy to die there, especially with nerves. Um, but I do overall think Allegiance is a good level. I think the decoration isn't anything too spectacular, though I do like the letterbox effect that it has in the drop, where you can only see like a third of the screen. And the gameplay is satisfying to pull off. I think the wave in the middle at like 60, I think it was, incredibly satisfying to pull off. I remember looking at it thinking it was impossible, and then it just wasn't. And the song, you can't not think of Allegiance when you hear the song. You either think of Allegiance or Five Nights at Freddy's, which, I mean, it's literally a song made for FNAF. So I'll give it an A tier. It's not an S tier, even though I have some bias about it because it was my first extreme I did last year. Um, but it's still a really good level. I enjoy it. Next up, we have I Love Cyan, which it was an interesting grind. I fluked 34 to 77, and then I think I was stuck for like another few days. Um, very high CPS, kind of annoying. Some parts just didn't feel like they worked all that much. Just some clicks were very awkward. The spider duel, super awkward. Um, that could have been a skill issue, to be honest, because I beat this well over a year ago. But I did still think that those parts were awkward. The random fucking 6 CPS for like 10 seconds kind of felt awkward. It just kind of felt like a strain. Though, to be fair, I also beat this on mouse. Um, so I wasn't able to click as fast as consistently. But I think the decoration, it's not bad. I think I definitely had some lag. However, I believe I was still on my laptop, if I remember. I might not have been. Um, but if I wasn't, I don't know why I was lagging. Um, and the song, it's kind of annoying, but it definitely fits the level. I think the song is really good for the level. It's fast paced, and yeah, it just fits the level. There's like nothing else I can say. I think it's a very mid-tier level. I'll give it a B tier. I think the ending being kind of awkward, and I think also just not being good at the game at the time made it so that it wasn't as enjoyable as it could have been, but it's not a bad level by all means. Next up, we have Chop Step, which was once my hardest. I actually did it as a hardest without realizing it, because at the time Dora Dora was my hardest, and I didn't realize that this was slightly harder than Dora Dora, because I just heard someone talk about it in a Discord server and was like, that level sounds interesting. I'll play it. And so I spent like 5 days on it. Um, I like most of the level. Most of the level is good, but the last 20 to 30% is way harder than everything else. And I mean way harder. I think I died like 10 to 15 times to the last like 5%. Just because that part is stupid hard. It just felt like it wasn't consistent and didn't work at all. But the rest of the level is really good. I like the duels, I like how it flows. It's very lonely, but again, it flows really well. The decoration, it's not bad. Not my favorite decoration, but it still isn't terrible. And the song goes so well with the level. Like, I'm not even kidding. This song is really good for the level. It's like made for the level. I think I'll give this a B tier. And I think the only reason it's not an A tier is just because of my somewhat shitty experience. Now we're going from a shitty experience to one of, if not my first major fluke on an Extreme Demon. I fluked Cataclysm from 50% somehow, which I think made my enjoyment a lot better. I do think the first wave, while it's still hard, it does get pretty consistent. And I do understand that it's not the most balanced level, and some of the gameplay isn't great. But again, this is my opinion and from my experience. I had a decent time with Cataclysm. I beat it fairly quickly. I think I beat it in like less than 700 attempts somehow. Um, that was only thanks to the fluke. The song, at the speed of light, is slightly, well, not slightly, it definitely is overplayed, but it's still iconic to the game. Like, when you think of Extreme Demons and when you think of songs, it's one of the first that comes to mind, definitely. Um, I do think the decoration, obviously it's dated because it's 1.9, but the decoration still isn't bad. It holds up a little bit. The piano part is really cool. I love the piano part. The decoration, the gameplay. I think it is actually a solid level. And a lot of people are going to be surprised by this, but I'm giving Cataclysm an A tier. And I think that is only because of my fluke from 50. Next up, we have my first and only, to this day, only platformer extreme, Fury 500. And I actually did enjoy this. It was definitely an experience. I learnt my lesson from beating how to platformer to not do this in one session. I believe I did it in 3 sessions over 3 days. Um, and I do think, whilst it is supposed to be hard and supposed to be, like a massive marathon, some parts were just kind of annoying. There was a room where it was basically, I think, like a 1 in 50 chance or something that you would get through it. And just, that was just annoying. Um, I do still think the gameplay is fun. It's all the rooms did feel unique enough that it didn't feel like you had done that room before. And I think obviously the decoration is supposed to be simple. It's supposed to be simple by design, where it's supposed to similar to how to platform, it's supposed to sort of somewhat teach you the basics of platforming whilst also being pretty difficult. It's definitely like it's basically the sole sequel to how to platformer. So honestly, B tier, honestly, where I just accidentally dropped it, B tier makes sense. Next up, we have Prismatic Haze, which I also did as the hardest. It was my hardest after the chop step. This level I really enjoyed. I honestly had a really good time with it. It was very fun. I loved the gameplay. It's very flowy, and it is so. If you feel awesome pulling it off, the song, it's one of my favorite Creo songs, and the decoration, it's obviously decoration that was from around its time, but it still isn't terrible. I don't think the decoration is bad. I do think it's a little dated, you can definitely tell, but I the gameplay and the song are absolute bangers. It feels really good the whole way through to play, and getting to the last ship, it feels so like because your heart is beating because you're obviously very nervous. It feels like straight up euphoria getting past the ship, and I'm lucky I didn't die to the last cube. I thought I did, but I didn't. I would probably give Prismatic Haze an A tier, not an S tier, just because I think it's slightly unbalanced, and that's really it. It's slightly unbalanced, and the decoration isn't. It's not the most well decorated thing to say. There are definitely levels that have better decoration, but the decoration is still good. Next up, we have Hypersonic, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I enjoyed Hypersonic. I think it's very consistent and it honestly just fits me really well. I loved Viprin's memory ball. I've always liked his memory ball parts. The ball part in Supersonic I loved, his part in Hypersonic I loved. Um, it's definitely very learny, and I think I probably have some bias towards it because not only did I beat it right after Prismatic Haze, but I also beat it twice after that. So I've beaten it 3 times in total. I beat it twice in one day because I wanted to actually get it on recording because I hadn't recorded it for whatever reason. And then the second time I beat it, I forgot to record. And then finally, the third time I beat it, I recorded. And I surprisingly didn't die to the last part from zero at all. I never died there. I think it remains consistent throughout. The decoration obviously is dated because it is early 2.1, I believe. But it's still a fun level. I know a lot of people complain about Sir Punj's duel and just every other duel, but the duels got consistent enough for me. I think I'm going to put it at an A tier as well. As I said, decoration's fine. I didn't mention the song, but when I hear the song, I always think of Hypersonic. So we go from an A tier to probably. I'm just gonna straight up put this in a D tier. Red World Rebirth is basically made to just be a hard level. Like, there's no other reason it existed other than the fact that it is a successor to Red World and it is just pure ship control, basically. I think as a remake of Red World, it's fine, but as a level on its own, it's not amazing. It's pretty unbalanced with the last ship being stupid hard. I think I died there a few times. Um, and This level is actually the reason why I did the next level on this list, but we'll get to that. I think the decoration, obviously, because it again is a successor to Red World, it does retain the same sort of feeling as Red World, but slightly more modern than Red World. But it's just not a good level. Don't play it. Just don't waste your time with it unless you're an extreme demon grinder and you can knock it out in a session. Next up, we have the Hell Dignity. And as I said with Red World Rebirth, I had to beat the Hell Dignity because of Red World Rebirth. I had made a bet with one of my friends that if I died to the last ship in Red World Rebirth, they would get to choose my next Extreme Demon. And I died to the last ship almost as a fluke. I almost fluked Red World Rebirth, but I just had to die to the last ship. So I had to beat the Hell Dignity. And I actually kind of enjoyed the Hell Dignity. It's not the best level, and the decoration, it's not amazing. I'm not a huge fan of the decoration. And the song, it uses Polargeist, which it's not the best song either, it's just kind of boring. But the gameplay honestly was fun. I think it took me 4 or 5 days to beat, I believe. And I think I did it as a third hardest, which was kind of funny. I think the main reason why I also enjoyed it was because I did get lucky. I only had one death past 68%, and that was to, I think, 94. I didn't die between 68 and 94 at all. And also, there are some visual cues, which I think made the level more enjoyable because you could actually find a consistent way to do some of the timings. So I'm going to put it in probably a B tier. I'd say B tier. Next up, we have what I used to always think was going to be my final hardest, and that is Bloodbath. However, Bloodbath would not be my final hardest, as I would find out, but we'll get to that when we do. I am a Bloodbath lover. I love the level, I love the gameplay. I do actually think the decoration is good. The song, again, at the speed of light, it's overplayed, but I think for this level, it fits perfectly. And I think people are going to hate me for this, but Michigan is my favorite part in Bloodbath by far. I absolutely loved Mishy's part. I know it's the hardest part, but that doesn't stop it from being fun to me. And I do also just think Bloodbath, I have bias because it was sort of the bridge that I crossed where I was like, okay, I'm actually kind of good at the game. So I'm putting Bloodbath in S tier, which a lot of people are going to be surprised about. But Bloodbath, I think, is one of my favorite extremes I have completed easily. Next up, we have Azurai, which it was a funny experience. I beat this on 4 hours of sleep in one session. Do I recommend doing that? No, I don't. It's a very skill-based level, and the transition into the duel and just the duel itself was a little bit jank. I did kind of fluke this level, but again, I don't think it's a good level. I think the song is probably the best thing about the level. The decoration, it's just basically the same throughout, and it doesn't really have any variation, which kind of made the decoration boring. And the gameplay is just not that interesting. It's very skill based, but it just doesn't have really any interesting gameplay. So I'll probably put it in a C tier, not an S tier, sorry. Crowd control. I know people love crowd control, but it's just not a good level. It is way too unbalanced. The first wave is stupid. The blue orb at like 50% is stupid. And I also didn't like the fact that I died to the last click when I should have beaten it. I almost beat it in one session, but I died to the last click. I have no real fond memory of crowd control. I think it was the first extreme demon that I gave a 1 out of 10 to. And so it's going in F tier. I'm sorry, I just don't like crowd control. It's just too inconsistent, too unbalanced. and it's just really, really annoying to play. I just don't like it. Disruption, we have. This was the first level I did that was like super, super high CPS. The only other one you could really say was kind of high CPS would be probably Prismatic Haze and maybe Niwa and Doradora, but Prismatic Haze definitely. But this was the first like proper high CPS where it was pretty much all about just spam. And I wasn't a huge fan of it. I felt some of the transitions were too inconsistent. The gameplay was just too inconsistent. It was very boring from zero. Again, it could have been a skill issue that I died so many times to the beginning and to the first part of the drop. But again, this is my opinion. I think the song's kind of funny because of some of the memes, but it's not great. Decoration is very meh. I'm not a huge fan of the decoration. And again, the gameplay just felt too inconsistent, so I'm giving it a C tier. Next up, we have Broken Signal, which I also beat twice. This is one of the few extremes I've actually beaten multiple times. I think the other two being Hypersonic and Aku. I don't think I've actually beaten a level multiple times, an extreme demon multiple times, other than those two. I love the decoration. I think the decoration is amazing in this level. The gameplay is very good. I think the first 50 is kind of boring, but the second half is really, really amazing. The song goes so well with the level, and it made for a good thumbnail and title. Um, do I think it's an S tier though? No. I don't think it's S tier just because the first 50 was boring, but I do think it is definitely worthy of an A tier. I absolutely loved playing it. It was a very, very enjoyable experience. Next up, we have Aftermath, which I'm kind of neutral on Aftermath. My experience was kind of meh. I fluked like 68 to 92 and then died to the ending like 4 more times or something. But it gets consistent. I do like Vulture's part, which is the shit part in the middle at the drop. I think that part is really fun. I do think a lot of Aftermath's gameplay is fun. I just didn't have the best experience with it. I think as an ending to the Apocalyptic trilogy, it's fine. It's supposed to be like a remake of Cataclysm and an extension to Cata and Bloodbath. I do think it's a little unbalanced, but so is like pretty much every level. I think the gameplay fine, the decoration it's meant to be like Cataclysm, so it's not amazing, but it works for what it's trying to be. And I do think it actually has a slight bias. I have a slight bias towards it because it was I believe my 20th Extreme Demon, and also it was the last level I needed to do in the Apocalyptic Trilogy, which is still to this day one of my best achievements in the game, I think. So I would probably give it a B tier. I think I'll give it a B tier. Um, Next up we have Blade of Justice. I love Blade of Justice, dude. Blade of Justice is amazing. I think it's so well decorated and it's just so fun to play. And the song, it's one of my favorite songs used in GD. I can understand people don't like it because the duel is very learny and it's an XL. And the first 30 is pretty difficult. But I loved it, dude. I absolutely loved it. It is getting my second S. I love the song, I love the gameplay, I love the decoration. Beating it feels so good to do. It's just an amazing level. I love Blade of Justice. It's a very well-aged level. It's one of the best aged extremes in the game, in my opinion. There's just, I don't have anything negative to say about Blade of Justice. Next up, we have Barbarous Finale, which was a funny level. I did this and I did this as believe I thought it was the second hardest. It could definitely be harder than Bloodbath, but who knows? It's like very similar. The gameplay is kind of funny. It's mostly spam and straight fly, but it was still fun. It's very skill based. I believe I beat it in 2 days. I almost beat it in one session. And then the second day coming back, I beat it in like 15 minutes. I think it's just a funny level. The decoration, it's funny. Again, I keep saying it's funny. The boss fight was very, very funny. And the song, it works well with the song. It kind of feels like an adventurous sort of boss fight song. So I would probably give it an A tier. Next up, we have Ion, which is a very skill based, almost purely ship extreme demon. It's fine. I died to the end a few times, but that was probably just a skill issue, and it also is a pretty long level. I do think the gameplay being mostly ship made it somewhat easier and more enjoyable for me because I am pretty decent at ship. The decoration, it's nothing really special, to be honest. I do also think the non-ship parts are kind of annoying, but that might just have been me. And the song, I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot what the song is and how it goes. And I think for that, just because the song is not very memorable, it's like a B tier. Next up, we have Auditory Breaker, which was the final hardest I did last year. It's not my final hardest anymore. I believe it's now my fourth hardest. And I actually very much enjoyed playing it. I think I spent 5 days on it. I enjoyed the grind. I think as a Sonic Wave remake and a slightly nerfed one at that, it does what it does very well. The decoration, it's nice to actually be able to see what you're doing. Um, the song, you can't not think of Sonic Wave and its remakes when you hear the song. And I think the song is kind of annoying just because of that. And the gameplay is actually very good. I don't mind the gameplay. Again, it's basically a carbon copy of Sonic Wave except for slightly nerfed. So you can't give it too much credit just because it's not super original. But I think as a hardest, I enjoyed it. I did get kind of unlucky, but I also did get lucky at the same time. So I think I'll give it a B tier. Now we have Thrash, which is my unluckiest experience in the game. I died to 94% and 98%. I died to the second to last click, but that doesn't stop it from being an amazing level. I think the theming of the level, the song, the gameplay, it is one of the best extreme demons in the game, hands down. Like, I don't care how bad my experience with Rash was, it is one of the best extreme demons I have ever played in the entire game. The decoration, it's so good. It stays awesome throughout. The gameplay is amazing. Getting to 70% from zero, there's basically no other level that makes you feel like how Rash did, how getting to the ending from zero did. And the song, oh my god, the song's so good for the level. It is an easy S tier. Like, there is no doubt about it. Rash is one of the best levels in the game. Next up, we have the Flawless, which is kind of a mid-level. The gameplay's fine. I did kind of get lucky with it, though I think it's not the best level. It is a more ship-focused level, and some of the gameplay did feel kind of inconsistent. The decoration is fine. It uses the same song as Yatagarasu, so which the song is actually not too bad. Um, I don't think it's a bad level, but I don't think it's great. I think it's very mid. I will probably put it as a B tier. Next up, we have Penome or Penombre, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Actually, a very good level. It was one of the first levels, I believe it's still one of the only levels I have beaten one of the only extremes I've beaten in less than 1,000 attempts. I think the others are, I believe, Cataclysm, Broken Signal, and maybe another level, but I can't quite remember. I do think the gameplay in this level is really fun. I did get kind of unlucky. I died to the last cube, which I shouldn't have. Um, it's pretty consistent, honestly. And the song is very good. The decoration, it's fine. Like, I don't really like the style. It's not that I don't like it, it's more just, it's not my cup of tea to say. Um, but I do think it's a good level. I would probably give it an A tier. Now we have Precipitants, which I did not enjoy playing. Um, I think it was partly due to the stress of I could have I could get 3 extremes in one day because I beat Panome, the Flawless, and Precipitants in one day. And when I beat Precipitants, I had 20 minutes left until it wouldn't have been a day since the Flawless. And I flipped it from 66, which I think is the only thing stopping it from being an F tier. But it's not a good level. It is super inconsistent at the start, so boring to play. The decoration's fine. Like, it is somewhat decent decoration, but I don't really have much positive to say about Precipitants. It's a D tier. Uprise, F tier. It's basically an insane demon with a stupid hard wave, and the wave is just, I don't know why it was verified in that state. I don't know what demonic creature possessed whoever verified it and whoever made the level. It's just not fun. It's one of those levels where you pretty much always get to the wave and then it's just RNG basically if you pass the wave or not. I also did get very unlucky. I died past the wave a bunch of times. I almost died to the last click as well. I don't have anything positive to say about Uprise. It's just a shit level. But next we have Napalm, which is a good level. I like Napalm. The gameplay, it's fun. You learn it, it's very fun. The corridor is awesome to play. I think the corridor is amazing to play. The decoration, I actually do like some of the decoration. It's not my favorite decoration, but it's a very good decoration. The song, it's got good music sync. The gameplay's fun. It's not an S tier, but it is definitely, I would say, an A tier. Next up, we have Meltdown, which I had fun playing Meltdown, but some of the parts felt a little inconsistent. I think one of the first UFOs felt very inconsistent for some reason, but it's a very good level for overall, and especially for ship. It's definitely got some hard ship parts for an easier extreme. The decoration is fine. I'll always say decoration is fine, unless it's like one of the best decorated levels, in my opinion. The song, I don't have much to say about the song. It's just mid. This is a very like mid level. Like it doesn't do anything bad, but it doesn't do anything amazing. So I would give it. I'd give it a B tier. Next up, we have Miseretta, which was my first extreme demon I did this year, and I wish I enjoyed it. I almost fluked it, but I died to one of the last clicks because I didn't activate a toggle orb, which I don't really like toggle orb gimmicks when they're in the jump orb. I just find them to be really inconsistent. It's just kind of a cheap way to make timings a little bit harder. And it just makes it annoying because what should be a buffer ends up not being a buffer. The decoration, it's good decoration, and the base gameplay I think is fun, but it just felt so buggy. I literally have a screenshot of me basically dying to thin air, and it did get very boring to play. So I think just because of my experience and some of the bugs, I'd have to give it a C tier. Next, we have Hyper Paradox, which I think is still the most mentally challenging thing I've done. I'm not going to get into it, but I was beating this level around the time of some not very good IRL things, I'll just say. And I think also I got this level in 2 runs in my first session, and then I didn't get a new best for 4 sessions after that. And so I had to take a 2 week break from the whole game. I took a 2 week break. I came back and I beat it in 2 days. So it was definitely a learning curve for me where I need to take breaks if I need to. But for the gameplay, a lot of it is fine, but some parts felt really annoying. The duel, for some reason, is misaligned, and the mini wave towards the end of the wave is super annoying. It just felt like things didn't line up when they should have. The decoration, I think it's one of the better decorated Nine Circles levels, and the song, it's fine. Um, Getting past the wave definitely feels really good because the ending isn't super hard. It's still hard, like, you can obviously still die there, but it's not like, oh, you were definitely bound to die there. Like, you can honestly fluke it. I think, ooh, it's between an A tier and a B tier. And I think just because of some of the parts, like the duel and the mini wave, I have to give it a B tier. Next up, we have Red World, F tier. It's just stupid. Literally, the only hard thing is the last ship. It's basically an insane demon at that point. Um, this was very funny. I got like 72% on my first attempt from zero. And then I think I spent another hour beating it with like 10 to 15 last ship deaths, which just made it annoying. The first few times it was funny because I knew I was going to die there, but I didn't like the level. It's just not a good level. It was basically made to just be difficult and that's it. So yeah, it's just the, the only way I can really describe Red World is that it's just a Red World. We have Shikufuku next, which, similar to a lot of the other flow levels like Niwa, Mizurata, Doradora, the base gameplay is amazing. I like the base gameplay, but I don't like the balancing and how hard and inconsistent some parts feel. I think 59 to 100 is really fun and super consistent, but the rest just didn't feel that consistent, especially the first like 20 to 30% of the drop. For some reason, it just was not consistent at all for me. I do like the song, again, similar to Mizureta and Niwa. I love the artist. They always make good songs, and the decoration is actually pretty good. I do like the decoration. Though I think because of how annoying it kind of was to play, but also because I fluked it, it gets a B tier. Next, we have retention, which I'm not even going to say anything much. Retention, easy S tier. Super fun gameplay, very consistent once you learn it. The song is really good. The decoration, I like Woogie's decoration. So I did have a funny experience with retention. I almost beat it in 1 session, and I ended up dying to the end about 5 times. And then the second session, I came back, did my usual like start pause round just to get some muscle memory, and I beat it my first attempt from zero that day. So, which completely made up for everything. And I think retention is just an amazing level. I love retention. It's just, I absolutely adore it. Next up, we have another S tier, which is Carbon. I think Carbon is very close to being a perfect level. I think the only reason it's not an actual 10 out of 10 is because of the balancing. The first 34% is way harder than everything else. Still somewhat consistent, but it's just a lot harder than everything else for some reason. It obviously Well, not obviously, but it was initially, I believe, supposed to be a wave challenge, and then it was extended upon to be a full level. And the decoration is amazing. I love the decoration. I love the song. It's really cool to see a very chill song in an Extreme Demon. You don't really get that nowadays anymore. A lot of the songs are like super chaotic and super fast paced because they're supposed to be like, oh, it's a really difficult level. We've got to make it fast paced and confusing and yada yada yada. But Carbon is just an amazing and chill level. The gameplay, I think it retains pretty slow. I don't know if it goes past 1 time speed. It might go to 2x speed. Um, but it's just an amazing level. If you haven't beaten Carbon, definitely play it. You won't regret it. We have 2.0 next, which I think it's slightly underrated in terms of difficulty. It is kind of short, so that could honestly be why. But I felt it was a little unbalanced and some parts were inconsistent. I almost fluked it, but then died to the last ship because the last ship has a weird transition. I also died to the last straight fly, which was just a pure skill issue. Um, it does have somewhat good music sync, and the decoration. It's good decoration. I don't think it's amazing. Um, but the gameplay was just very annoying to play. I'd probably end up giving it a B tier. My experience was just kind of meh. It's just a level that's there. This level, Sweater Weather, I feel like it's one of those levels where people either like it or people hate it. And I'm on the side that likes it. I used to actually hate it, but after beating it, and I beat it incredibly quickly, I beat it in less than 1,000 attempts. I think it took me like an hour. I ended up enjoying it. It definitely is a little weird. I can see why people don't like it because some parts are definitely unbalanced, but I think it's a level where you want to beat it when it's quite below your skill level. You want to beat it kind of quickly so you can enjoy it, which is what I did. Um, I do like the song, however, the original song I prefer more than the remix, if I'm going to be honest. But it's still a good level. It's still a good song, I mean. The decoration, I kind of like the decoration, but the gameplay, I can definitely see the gameplay being annoying. It did kind of get annoying, but it wasn't like, oh, I hate this level. It's just like, oh, I died here again, which isn't surprising because some parts are a lot harder than the rest. So I will probably give it. Hmm, I am having an actual hard time placing it. I think I'll give it an 80 just because I beat it so quickly. And like I couldn't really form that much of a negative opinion. Now we have Arctic Lights, which is my current hardest. And I look back on Arctic Lights very fondly. It showed me that if I spend more attempts than usual, because I think at the time I had beaten Arctic Lights, the only other level I had spent over 10,000 attempts on was Bloodbath, which a lot of that was old, so it doesn't really count. Otherwise, the most amount of attempts was an Auditory Breaker, which I think I spent about 8.1k. Whereas with Arctic Lights, I spent almost 22,000 attempts. I think it's definitely unbalanced. 38 to 48 is a massive choke point. Like when you get to the wave, it's pretty much always you'll die to 38 to 48. I think I had like 95 deaths to that 10%, and I think 14 passed it. I did kind of get lucky with this level. I fluked 60, I think it was 67 to 90%, and I didn't die between 67 and 90 at all somehow. Um, so I only had two post wave deaths. I mean, two post wave attempts. I mean, I had one death past it. The song, I don't mind the song. The decoration, it's a very fine decorated Nine Circles level. And I think The gameplay, obviously, it's made to be hard. Like, it's a top 300, but I honestly didn't mind it. I came into it with a pretty good mindset, I think. And I did enjoy playing Arctic Lights as the hardest. Obviously, there is probably some bias because it's my hardest, but I enjoyed it. I'm probably going to have to give it an A tier. Next up, we have Down Bass, which again, a lot of people don't like Down Bass, but I enjoyed Down Bass. I think a lot of that comes to the fact that I beat it in one session somehow. I think it's my hardest one session completion. It would have been another level in this list, but we'll get to that. Um, I think the gameplay is good. I do enjoy the gameplay. The spam parts, I know a lot of people don't like them, but I never had an issue with the spam parts. I did also fluke it. I think I fluked it from 70. I almost progress fluke. I almost fluked it from like 36 or something. I progress fluked 36 to 70. Um, the song is fine. It is kind of a weird song. It's not my favorite. The decoration, I'm just gonna straight up say the decoration is not good. But when I'm playing a level, I don't really care for decoration. I care more for if it's just fun to play. And I do think down bass is fun to play. It's definitely one to do when you're a bit better at the game, I think, because I think too many people try to do it when it's a really hard level for them. But for me, I beat it when I think I beat it when it was going to be in my top 10. I don't think it's in my top 10 anymore. I think it's around my 12th or 13th hardest. But yeah, I enjoy down bass, so I think it's an A tier. Quantum processing. We're just going to do this and we're going to call this quantum processing because quantum processing is one of the worst levels in the entire game. It is so bad that it doesn't even compare to anything in F tier. This is the first level that legitimately made me cry, and there was only one other level which I've beaten since that has. And I just, there is nothing positive I can say about quantum processing. There is only negative. Like, there's not even anything neutral. It is, the gameplay is shit. I hated playing it. It felt like a chore. It just, there is nothing fun about quantum processing. And I just don't want to look at quantum processing again. I absolutely hate it. It is so bad it doesn't even deserve to be in F tier. It deserves its own tier. Just don't play it. Do not play quantum processing. You will regret it. The Ultimate Demon. It's actually not a bad level. I fluked from 45%, which at the time, and it still is, my best fluke on an Extreme Demon. The gameplay, it does get kind of consistent, though I do think the hallucination part was a little annoying for some reason, but everything else is fine and consistent. The limbo keys at the end, I think I only fluked it because there's kind of a trick with the limbo keys, if you don't know. Um, Whichever key that gets selected, it will always be the same color. So if you get the top right key, it will always be the same color no matter what. So the keys aren't actually random. The selection is random, but what key it ends up being based on the selection isn't random. So I think that is the only reason I fluke it was because a friend of mine told me about that strategy, about that little trick. So I think I'll give it an A tier. Not amazing, but I fluked it, so there's nothing much I can say. Sucoup in Hell. I didn't mind Sucoup in Hell. Is it a good level? No. But is it like the worst level? Also no. I think Sucoup in Hell is one you want to do when you're really good at the game, because you can just do it in like an hour. I think I took a little longer than that because I kept dying to the last wave. Um, It is kind of a funny level in the sense of it's basically three wave challenges with filler gameplay, and that's about it. It was made to be difficult. It wasn't made to be enjoyable, it was made to be difficult. So there's that. But I don't think it's the worst level. I wouldn't give it an F tier. Um, I'd probably give it. Ooh, it is satisfying to do, but I don't think it's as good as these levels. But I don't think it's an F tier, so I'll give it a D tier. The ultimate phase, D tier. It's just not fun. A lot of the level is fine, but Zerberus's part, just why? It should never have been updated. I don't know why it was allowed to be updated, but I think the only reason it isn't an F tier is because I did kind of fluke it. I didn't die past, I think, 76%. Um, but it's just kind of annoying to figure out. Some of the parts of the duel, especially, was very annoying. Zerberus's part just ruined the level for me. I don't know why his part is like that, but it just is. The song, it's fine. The decoration, it's meh. It's a metal collab. It's gonna have a variety, of course, but the gameplay's just dog shit. We have Misfire next, which this level, I like it, but I also kind of found it annoying. The only reason is because I end up getting a little bit unlucky with Misfire, and it is a little inconsistent, but I do think it's a good level. I also think it's a funny level because Misfire has the haha funny song, and it's kind of funny that this level is harder than stuff like Sukupen Hell, Bloodbath, Aftermath, all those levels that are meant to be like super edgy and super serious, and this level just doesn't take itself seriously. It's literally a shit post of a level, and I think that's what makes it so funny. Um, is it an S tier? No. It's probably, I would say, I don't know if it's an A tier or a B tier. I don't think it's as good as some of these levels, so I would say it's a B tier. Just because my experience, I end up getting a little bit annoyed and it's not the most balanced thing. We have Fun Friday, S tier, easy. My favorite extreme in the game, hands down. Everything about it is fun. I have nothing negative to say. I only have positives. The song is really good. The click pattern in the gameplay is really good. It is the first time, Fun Friday is the first level that I have ever said that I'm addicted to playing a part in it. And that was To the Wave. I absolutely love everything about this level. Decoration is awesome, gameplay is awesome, song is awesome, and I do also like the randomized quiz at the end, which I did get the quiz wrong, but I am planning on rebeating it just one day for fun. Just if you haven't beaten Fun Friday, do yourself a favor and beat it. It is genuinely one of the best extreme demons in the entire game. Next up, we have Stellar Luna, which I believe I also beat the same day I beat Fun Friday, and it's a very mid level. It has some weird hitboxes for some reason. The gameplay is kind of mid. The transition into the UFO is just awkward. I don't know why it was like that, but I think the decoration is fine. The song is fine, but the gameplay is very mid. I think it is probably. I think it's a C tier, yeah. It's not amazing. I don't think it's to the level of these, but I don't think it's like super shit. It's just like an incredibly mid level. We have Make It Drop, which is consistent but also a little buggy, and the pre drop is so stupidly difficult for some reason, or annoying. And the last 10% is also difficult. It's very chokeable. I think I died there twice. Um, I think it's kind of fun, and I don't mind the decoration. I do actually kind of like the decoration, and a lot of it is consistent. It's just some parts were very inconsistent and a little buggy. So I think I have to give it a B tier. It's a fine level. If you're extreme going, you can beat it pretty quickly. It's just a little bit learny, but it's not the best level. Phobos, my 50th extreme demon, and one of my proudest moments in the game. I never thought I would be able to hit 50 extremes. I never thought I'd be able to beat Phobos, and here I am with Phobos completed as my 50th extreme demon. This level, I like to describe Phobos as a misunderstood level. The key to enjoying Phobos is having the right mindset and just accepting that you're going to be dying to the duel because the transition is just so bad. Everything else is super enjoyable. I also did get very lucky with Phobos. I died 3 times past the duel, and my worst death was 82%. And the session I beat it was so funny. I got 1% twice, 30%, and 100%. My session best was literally 30% when I beat it. Um, I genuinely think Phobos is a fun level. It's just the dual transition is the only thing that brings it down. And the song, it's one of the most iconic songs in the game, I think, just because Phobos does have some history with being a very jank mega collab and obviously super nerfed. It inspired Deimos, which is basically a somewhat buffed version of Phobos. Actually, I think it inspired both Deimoses, but very good level actually. You just have to accept you're going to die to the duel, and it just becomes fun. So I think it's an A tier, and that does it. That is all 50 of my Extreme Demons to Phobos. Obviously, I said in the beginning of this video, I am a slow coach, so I've done 8 extremes since Phobos, which my next few videos are going to be those completions, don't worry. Um, yeah, honestly, take these with a grain of salt, obviously. This is my opinion and my opinion only. Um, Enjoyment in this game and pretty much everything is very opinion based, especially with GD. It's very up to enjoyment and experience. You can have a shit experience but enjoy the level and think it's a good level. You can enjoy levels that people think are bad. Like I enjoyed a few levels that people think are bad, such as Phobos and Downbase. But yeah, that'll do it for the 50th Extreme Demon tier list. I hope you have a good time watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day or morning or whatever time it is for you. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.